Welcome everybody to episode 214 of the You Can't Comp This NBA Trading Card Podcast. We are your hosts, Adam, Amy, and Russell Gibson. Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to all of our listeners on YouTube, out at Central Coast Radio, Spotify, Google Podcasts, whichever podcast platform you're listening to us on.
We don't care.
We're glad to have you. We're glad to have you on board with us. And boy, what a week in basketball.
Just doesn't stop, does it?
Well, it's the playoffs. It's all the awards get announced, all of the excitement. Yeah, there's a lot happening. We now are down to the best of the West, best of the East, playing one another.
Yeah.
Two very different conference playoff pictures. But some awards have come out recently. Do we want to
I was going to say, it's so funny to me. You started off with like the playing on the court, whereas for me, that's almost been a bit secondary. Like
really?
MVP got announced. That's a really big deal.
Oh, it's a big farcical award in my eyes at the moment. It's ridiculous.
All
so
NBA.
the second best player in the league got given an award.
I mean, it's not the first time or the last time it's going to happen.
It's the second time it's happened to this guy. Poor Jokic. Anyway.
Happened to Jordan twice. I think happened to Kobe. It's just the way the world or the way the NBA works, really, isn't it?
Yeah, well, the more modern times we'll call it the Joel Embiid rule, and it's been applied to Nikola Jokic twice now.
Yeah. So anyway, congratulations to SGA. I think he's a good winner. Like I agree with you. I think it's Jokic could have won it, but at the same time, it's not a total trash bag.
I'm going to start by saying I think he had a really, really good season, probably the best season he's ever played. This is about the most valuable player. Jokic is the best player in the world, and when he plays for Denver, they win. When he doesn't play for Denver, they lose. He is more valuable to Denver than SGA is to the Thunder. I'm not going to steal SGA's thunder anymore, but by being bitter about the award. I just think the most valuable player should go to the most valuable player, and Jokic should have 5 of these awards by now. Anyway, he doesn't. SGA wins. Congrats. He had a brilliant season. Let's see how he does in the playoffs. Anyway.
So to take your point, it's a regular season award, and I actually wonder if the NBA and the media needs to do a better explanation of how they come to their voting, because for me, it's like clearly it also has baked into that the team performance. And I think that's maybe where it gets a little bit confused, or it gets a little bit, the narrative does change a little bit. So like just to put all the facts onto the table, the Thunder won 68 games this year and the Nuggets won 50.
Yeah.
And so it's really muddy to unpack all of that as like a direct correlation. Like you can't say, oh, well, they're the better team, so therefore they get the MVP. Like it isn't as clear cut as that. But I think in this instance, I think a lot of that was definitely baked into that. And then looking at third place, it was Giannis. The Bucks had 48 wins, and then Tatum was fourth. But Boston had 61 wins. And I think that's where it even gets a little bit more complicated again, you know, like, and so.
Well, we know the Tatum problem comes down to Jaylen Brown, right?
Yeah. I think just the overall depth of Boston, like they were just really good this year. And maybe also too, it's a little bit that Cleveland was better than them in the East, and that was a bit unexpected, wasn't it? So
Sure.
Cleveland clocked in at 64 wins. So look, I don't want to oversimplify this and just make it, we're just looking through the numbers of how many teams won what, but I think we should at least acknowledge that, because and maybe that's what we need to do is actually, you know, try and find out, you know, how do people vote for it. Zach Lowe used to do a really good column, and I'll be honest with you, I've lost track a little bit of Zach Lowe because I think he's back doing independent media again.
Zach Lowe, no, I think isn't Zach Lowe?
So he's not with ESPN anymore.
No, he's gone back. He's gone to the Ringer.
Yeah.
He's
so,
Bill,
and he used to do,
Simmons,
every year he used to do a column about why he voted for this person for All NBA and why he didn't, and he would break it down and go into advanced stats, and he used to put, you know, so much detail into it. So I wonder if that would be really helpful for us to actually understand, you know, why does it happen? Because I think at a very superficial level, it does seem like that, doesn't it? So
yeah, true.
So I think, look, let's tie this back to basketball cards as we always try and do to it. I think we have to congratulate people that saw this coming, because, you know, we've been talking about this for 6 months now, saying that
that's true.
There's an event on the horizon, you know, is he going to win MVP and all the speculation around that. So this peaked at 1150, maybe even higher than that. let me have a look at this. It's a little bit hard because I'm on the all-time data. It's actually nearly 1,560. It's currently trading at 1,338. So if you're looking at the last 6 months, it's up 108%. Or another way of saying is you've doubled your money. If you're looking at it for the last 12 months, it's up 123%. So just an absolute huge uptick here. I think I was very wrong about this, but it doesn't change my underlying concern about this guy of, where is this going to end up? Like, is this going to be back at $600 in 12 months' time? I really don't know about that, because I think winning a single MVP doesn't mean that you're going to be a collecting darling. And we've seen that with Joel Embiid, where they win one MVP, but it doesn't then mean that they're going to be $1,000 card. It's almost quite the contrary to that.
This is true.
Now, just stepping ahead and getting ahead of ourselves here, which is kind of a fun thing to do, is it fair to say that they're the favorite to win right now? Because without spoiling future segments of the show, the Knicks are down 2 games to the Pacers at the moment.
I'm ready for the Wolves-Pacers finals.
And assuming that the Thunder gets past the Wolves, I think they'll beat the Pacers. So that would give them a championship, which is a funny one for me because, look, I think the Thunder are good, but I don't think they're a great champion. Again, I'm getting my head of myself here. But so anyway, the narrative is, or the question is, the hypothetical question is, are we about to see a dynasty happen? They're so young. They've still got a lot of draft equity coming towards them.
I'm not sold on them. I'm in the minority. I've been told I'm in the minority. The Wolves, it's not a series until, and like the Wolves are not written off. I think there's a chance.
And they won today.
They won
game 3.
By a big way. They dominated that game on their home
Which is a very NBA thing to happen, isn't it? Like there are blowouts in NBA games, which is why we have 7-game series. So,
So there's a chance that the Thunder are anticlimactic and don't make it, but they're in a good seat at the moment.
Yeah.
But you're right. They've been the best team all season, maybe. Maybe it's time to give them some flowers.
But
I don't know.
Let's do sort of a first take approach here. We're looking at a dynasty for the next 5 years. What do you think this card goes up to?
I don't think.
Or you don't see a dynasty.
I don't see a dynasty. I think the data shows that the last dynasty we had was sort of the Warriors, and
Steph Curry was our last dynasty.
No other team has been able to establish a dynasty. Everyone wants to be a dynasty. We've had a different NBA champion for the last 5 years.
Yeah.
So,
which is solely based on the way they changed the salary cap rules to create parity within the league.
Yeah. So we're reaping what we've sown. There is going to be a new NBA champion this year. Like the Celtics aren't getting back to defend their title. Thunder have never won it. Timberwolves have never. Do you know what I mean? Like Indiana's, it's going to be either Indiana or New York, and they haven't won recently. Like it's going to be the only certainty is it's going to be a new champion. So I don't know. I would take dynasty off the table, and I would be even going back to back's tricky, or 2 and 3. Like the Nuggets couldn't do that, and they've been built. The Nuggets are built to do it, and I think there's question marks over that. We can talk about that later.
But I think as the current roster stands, the Thunder are in a better position moving forward than the
for
Thunder
longevity.
Sorry, the Nuggets are. Yeah.
The Thunder are in a there and about position and have the draft stock coming to maintain that. You're right. You're very right.
All right, I got to tell you something, though. I'm just having a bit of a moment. So I'm looking at Giannis. I'm going to do a direct comp to him because single MVP winner. No, sorry, Giannis has won 2 MVPs.
2 MVPs, yeah.
2 MVPs and 1 championship.
Mm-hmm.
And so his current price is $5,675 for a silver PSA 10.
Yeah.
So even though I think my stress has been, not my stress, like my concern about SGA is that it's overpriced and it's all being baked into future stuff. But now that we're starting to see actual results coming, that still has like $4,000 up its sleeve for movement if you're comparing it to somebody who's got a very similar resume. Yes, I'm getting ahead of myself, obviously, but at the same time, I feel like this narrative in my head is actually slowly beginning to change now. So I'm gone from something that I'm a bit concerned about to almost sort of starting to see the potential for it. Actually, it's got a long way to go.
I'm going to give you some relativity on the PSA 10 because I'm looking up for our viewers at home. I've looked up SGA and I've also got Giannis. PSA 10 silver, sorry.
Yeah.
The pop on the Giannis is 87.
Correct, yeah. What's the pop on the SGA, mate?
691.
Oh, yeah, right, okay.
So there's a little bit of a discrepancy.
Yeah.
But you're right, for that, it's $5,000. I don't know let's see what the BGS 9.5 is that's still $2,500, and that's pop 130. So there's not a lot of them. What's the silver full pop?
Yeah,
I'm just trying to. It's hard to bring relativity to it.
So actually, maybe that's relatively similar in terms of price and comp then on a ratio. Yeah.
Yeah. You're right. Maybe it's yeah.
All right. We have absolutely gone off the rails here, but that's what we do on this show. Really quickly, let's just skim through a couple of these things. This is from Twitter. This is actually from Collect Media. SGA gave all of his teammates a Rolex each. Like, that's a beautiful, beautiful gift there. This is from the mighty Zach Lowe. Once a day or so, I remember the Thunder have Nikola Topic just waiting to play his first NBA minutes next season. Again, that just talks about the future viability of the Thunder. We got a comp here. This is from Card Ladder. Adam, I might put this to you, mate. I feel like you'll enjoy this one far more than me.
I can see it. I've got it. Yep.
Anthony Edwards, black gold BGS 9.5 versus an SGA black gold BGS 9.5, and they're virtually exactly the same price within 2 days of each other. Which would you prefer?
I'm taking the Anthony Edwards.
Okay.
I'm taking the Ant. There's two reasons. One is I do like Ant more than I like SGA. I think he's going to have the more prolific career at the end. Yep. He beats anybody on the confidence scale. But secondly, he's got at least his rookie card's got a rookie shield on it.
True. Yeah.
No. It's interesting that you comped SGA to Giannis, because I was going to comp him to another MVP winner in James Harden. For those,
I don't think.
Well, Doris Burke did, just to compare his level of play to that of James Harden. So let's see if he chokes in the playoffs the same way James did. And they both played for the Thunder. What a coinky-dink. Anyway.
Look, we've seen the changing of the guard this year in the NBA. So if we talk about the last 4 teams that are left, they're all young, upcoming players, or you could say, players getting very close to their prime. Look, True. I think if I'm taking a card right now, where everything is currently laid out as it stands, I think SGA is the safer bet.
Yep.
I get what you're saying about Edwards moving forward, having the better career, but I'd also probably say too, I think there's a lot of bravado with this guy's game, and I'm a little bit reluctant to sort of get sucked into all of that. But in saying that too, if you look at the Wolves' success the last couple of years, so if you sort of zoom out and go, okay, what's the normal trajectory that an NBA player or an NBA star takes? It's like they go to a bad team, they make that bad team better, they get to the playoffs, they advance through the playoffs. So last year, the Wolves got to the Western Conference Finals. They're there again. Like, there's kind of that fun narrative, and this is what Boston went through a couple of years ago. They got to the Eastern Conference Finals, then they made it to the championship and they won the championship. Do you know what I mean? Like, sort of where I'm going with this. Like, maybe this is actually the Wolves' year, and they'll bounce back and
they'll learn from last year's. Yeah.
Right. They'll get to the finals this year, and then the year after that they'll win the championship. I kind of like that fun narrative there. I actually think we've overlooked the Wolves a little bit in that sense too, because they've had so much sort of roster turmoil with that sort of Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert pairing, which was kind of super weird. And then they had the ownership takeover. And so,
true.
I think we have overlooked them a little bit in some senses. But
we can talk about who won the trade scenario stuff that's being voiced around now. There's a lot of people that are arguing the Knicks cat for
sure.
Randall and DiVincenzo. There's a lot of talk now that maybe the Wolves did win the trade after taking their first win at home against the Thunder.
I mean, look, the NBA is such an interesting, and we could think of heaps of examples.
Both won the trade, but yeah.
But just bear with me for 2 seconds. So game 1 of the Pacers series, Karl Anthony Towns actually played really well. He just played a fantastic game of basketball. And, look, this is why I don't gamble. Because it's like, if I was live betting during that game, I would have put whatever I had, a stupid amount of money on the Knicks to win. So this is easy money, right?
Yeah. Well, I was disappointed. I thought I was going to have a miserable lunch break, not being able to watch any exciting basketball. Turned out to be one of the most exciting lunch breaks I've had in a long time.
It's an instant classic. And you could watch that game 5 times and still find something new in it. It was a great, great, great game of basketball,
was insane.
Right?
Yep.
Then Halliburton gets that lucky roll. Okay, it's not lucky. That's a terrible thing to say.
The lucky bounce.
Well, they're professional athletes, so I don't like to call them lucky. But he gets a very fortunate bounce. Let's call it that. And so that could be completely different if they'd won that game one, then you would actually be saying, well, Towns played, really well.
Yes.
And so my other most recent what if moment was that Kevin Durant shot where he had his foot on the 3-point line and they went on to lose that game.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
well,
to me, the
that
NBA
could have been
is
the
like
Halliburton. Yeah.
it's virtually a game of centimeters, which is for me, it's why it's so
That's brutal.
dynamic. Yeah.
While we were discussing this, I've done some Googling.
Sure.
Some card ladder research, and I'm not going to look at the last year. I'm going to go all time. But James Harden, 2009, Topps Chrome, rookie card, currently selling for $1,140.
Yeah, okay.
So maybe my comp on SGA isn't too far off. That said, the pop on that is 63. But anyway.
I don't like that comp because I feel like Harden's a fantastic player and he's going to be in the Hall of Fame. But I think he's going to be what I would call a little bit of an empty numbers guy, where he was a scoring champion, but then he was not that great in the playoffs. Whereas for me, I feel like Shea's a little bit the opposite of that. He's a good regular season player, but he plays really well in the playoffs. He doesn't suffer from that same step back that Harden has.
We'll see. Time will tell.
Yeah.
Time will tell. It is very young it's very early in his career to who knows? He could become a superstar. Could be the next Kobe. Could be the next Harden. We don't know yet.
Really quickly, we got to get to a break. This is from Kent Sports 24 on Instagram. He's talking about the SGA extension, which he's now eligible for after he's won the MVP. $65 million, 70,
Sheesh.
75, 81.2, and 86.5 million a year, 31, 32. So that's just absolutely bananas numbers, isn't it?
Yikes, that is a lot of money.
Alrighty. Sponsorship for this week. Game Time International have ended their sponsorship deal with us. So I'm just going to shout out to them. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
It's been my to-do list to actually reach out to Comrade, but I have not done that. So I will absolutely do that this week. Fast Break Trading Cards. Thank you so much for your ongoing and re-upped sponsorship of the show. Go to fastbreaktradingcards.com. Friday 12 to 6, Saturday 9 to 5, Sunday 10 to 4, 75 Tulip Street in Cheltenham. Now, guys, you can get whatever you want from these guys. They have got literally it all. Sealed product, singles. They've got high-end singles in their cabinets. They'll also take your cards, send them off for grading. You can pre-order trading cards. They've got gift cards for sale. Entertainment and TCG. Lorcana, Pokemon, One Piece, Star Wars. Fanatics Authentic Memorabilia, certified dealer official partner. Also the official partner of the Collect Fest. All right, What do we got here for pre-order? Okay, it's pretty much all out of stock, but they had Pokemon TCG Scarlet and Violet, 10 Destined, Rivals, Check Lane Blister, $18. Out of stock, Magic the Gathering, Fantasy Collector Booster Boxes. Out of stock, Pokemon TCG Scarlet and Violet, Destined Rivals Booster Bundle.
They've sold out on all of their pre-orders. That's awesome.
That's crazy, yeah. Pre-order Pokemon TCG Scarlet and Violet, 10 Destined Rivals Elite Trainer Box. That was $150. That's all out of stock. So, guys, congratulations on your ongoing booming business. I think that's the best way to put it.
Yeah. These two these guys are some of the best in the business. They've been around for a while, and happy to have them on board for even longer.
Also be at the hobby hangout. So go down to the boys and tell them that Russell and Adam
said hi and spoke highly of you.
Sent you down. Absolutely. Alrighty, we are back. Adam, how are you doing?
I'm good. I've calmed down after my SGA rant.
You could have fired up a bit more.
I could have. We'd still be going if I'd done that.
It's not an SGA first take response, really.
I feel like I've just been. I've found my new target now that Luke is a Laker, and it's SGA. He's on my radar, but he might win sooner rather than later.
You need someone to hate on, don't you?
Correct. I need someone to rag on, and I'll tell you what: if they don't win the chip, SGA, I'm sorry, you're my boy.
All right. All NBA. Who is your biggest surprise addition to the All NBA team? Giannis, SGA, Jokic, Donovan Mitchell, or Jason Tatum?
I don't have any surprises to the top five. They're exactly who I thought would be first NBA All-Team.
I didn't pick Donovan Mitchell there at all.
Really?
No, not at all. I'm genuinely surprised by that.
Hang on, I actually have an old, because on a friend's podcast we did the predictions.
Yep.
Podcast stuff. All NBA team. I had Well, actually, no. I ambitiously put Austin Reeves in my All NBA team. Let's not go there. But yeah, everybody I'd picked, but Halliburton's the surprise for me.
Okay.
I didn't expect Halliburton to make it. I was wrong.
Yep.
But yeah, my two of my selections weren't in the top 15, but they were the next two, and that was Şengün and Triple J. But
okay, sure.
Yeah, pretty much everybody. I saw a lot of it coming.
I thought maybe Edwards or Steph would be first team.
I thought Curry was third team actually, but
okay.
So
then second team was Jalen Brunson, Steph Curry, Edwards, LeBron James, and Evan Mobley.
Yeah.
My surprise on that was Evan Mobley. I really didn't see him getting picked for that. And I think we were talking about the team success and, what you get for that. Like for me, those two being first and second team is just nothing more than them, winning 60 games, which is fine.
Yeah.
Like I don't have a massive problem with it. But at the same time, is Evan Mobley really an All-NBA second player? Like I'm not so sure about that.
Isn't he Defensive Player of the Year?
Yeah, but like, is that All-NBA? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, true. Well, the Cavs didn't make the Eastern Conference Finals, so maybe maybe that's due to they're not as good as they've been touted to be.
I mean, look, there's a part of me that really likes it because I like those type of players that Evan Mobley is, who's very cerebral, who does all the dirty work, and a lot of his things, aren't going to show up on the stat sheet.
Agreed.
18 points a game, 9.3 rebounds, 3.2 assists, 55% from the field. Look, I actually don't think this is going to be peak Evan Mobley. So, and so okay, this is going to be my case in point. So next year, if the Cavaliers drop off their wins a little bit, and Mobley keeps getting better, which is what you would expect him to do, like someone with his type of game.
Yeah.
It's a skill and finesse game. He's going to become more skillful as time goes on. He's just 23 years of age.
Yeah.
But then he doesn't get named to All-NBA second team. Like, does that mean he didn't play as well next year? Do you know what I mean?
It's
like,
a tough one, isn't it?
That's what I don't like about this sort of naming. It's like, who is actually the second team? Like,
but so, it's effectively, it's the top 20. It's the top 15 players in the league.
Yeah, so that's going to be my next point. Is LeBron James a top 10 NBA player still at the moment?
I think so. I had LeBron in my
like, with all due respect, I don't believe he is.
Okay.
Because he's just slowed down so much. Like it's a huge name. I get that, but at the same time,
but it wasn't like he was putting up 10 points a game and getting two rebounds.
No,
like
definitely not.
He got first team MVP votes. He got first place MVP votes. That's how good LeBron was this year.
Like, it might come down to way that the vote ballot is, but for example, for me, I would like to see Cade on the second team. And if I was going to move,
I had Cade in my second team, yeah.
Yeah. And if I was going to move somebody out, it would probably be LeBron or maybe even Mobley. So then, maybe that's actually what the problem is here is, okay, so then Edwards would be like at the 4 spot, and then who's going to play the 3? Jalen Brunson. Like, that doesn't work.
Yeah, the first team is a legitimate, you've got an actual making of a team, but the second and third team, I'd say the positions are a bit skewy. I personally wouldn't, James Harden I wouldn't have had in there. I would have had Şengün.
Yeah.
And I think the Rockets deserve to have Şengün.
Yeah, that's it, isn't it? Like, I think that's a really big one for me too. Like, if you're talking about rewarding people because of their team success, well, the Rockets did get done a little bit dirty there.
Yeah.
So maybe that's the way you look at it. You say, look, Karl-Anthony Towns goes into the second team. I would take LeBron out, or I'd take Mobley out, and that would give you room for Şengün to slide in there.
Yeah.
All right, so third team, Cade Cunningham, Halliburton, Harden, Karl-Anthony Towns, Jalen Williams. Who is your surprise addition or omission?
The omission would have, as I said, was Şengün, but the addition was James Harden or Halliburton.
Yeah.
Halliburton, I think it was underrated. I think mid-season I hadn't really clicked, but Halliburton seems to just build. And I tell you what, maybe it's a regular season award, but Halliburton is built for the playoffs.
So I think my thing with Halliburton is, we talk about market and how that impacts people's hobby.
Indiana's little.
And I think this is the perfect example for Halliburton, right? So I was talking to my wife today about the Pacers, and she's like, who are the Pacers?
Yeah.
So the last 4 teams in the league. Look, my wife's not an NBA buff, but I bore her with conversation about basketball, pretty much every day. So she knows like who the players are now, and she knows who the teams are. But I think case in point, she doesn't know who the Pacers are. And I think that directly comes back to market size.
Agreed.
And so
Agreed.
I think, like, for me, this is what a part of the NBA I kind of hate a little bit. Even this actually for me is like, it's super annoying. So it's like people who are paid to watch the NBA every single day will still overlook the Pacers a little bit.
Yeah.
You know, I think that's pretty annoying.
Yeah.
All right. Jalen Williams, that is my absolute surprise. I'm genuinely
Really?
surprised that he got named. And I think also too,
is that reward for effort or?
It's just, I think for me, this is just like reward for their performance. Honestly, like, and
I still don't understand. There's enough guards in there. Why James Harden's there?
I'm not outraged by this. Like, I'm not going to be jumping up and down. It's like, you know, the dude shouldn't have been there, all that type of stuff. But at the same time, like, let's just look at the numbers like really quickly. Şengün versus Jalen Williams. So Jalen Williams at the moment, 21.6 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists, 48% from the field. Şengün 19, 10, and 5 basically.
Mm-hmm. Like, they're comparable.
It's very, very comparable, isn't it? Like, you know, you could almost say Şengün's got the better numbers. I think getting 10 rebounds a game, that is not an easy feat to do, honestly.
Okay. I don't like it. Hey,
why don't we pick out one of these players and talk about their values? Because again, like, this is really what we're here for, is to talk card value.
This is true.
Who do you want to talk about?
Probably not Şengün because he's not.
While you're deciding, I'll quickly do Cade Cunningham because that's who I want to just really quickly check in on. Yep.
Yeah, why not?
And then the other one is probably for me, Donovan Mitchell too. So just really quickly. All right, Cade's currently trading at 435. If you zoom into the last 3 months, he's up 5%. So he's in basically a holding pattern at the moment. I think that's a very, very healthy spot for him to be. Everything's tracking in the right direction. If you're a Cade Cunningham holder, hold. Keep holding.
Hold it.
Things are looking good for you. Donovan Mitchell, currently trading at $205. Now, if you look at him for the last 2 years, he's basically exactly where he was, so minus 15%. If you zoom in a little bit to 1 year, he's up 8%.
Yeah.
If you zoom into 6 months, he's down minus 5%. So basically, he's a $200 card. I think he is as pretty much as unpopular as an old NBA first team player can be, honestly.
Yeah, this is true.
Yeah. Who do you want to talk about?
Tyrese Halliburton, of course.
Sure.
Let's are we calling him? What was the? I saw a clip on one of those reels, and they're like, Jalen Brunson was in hospital, and it's like, you just got attacked by the New York Strangler. Recovering. I
mean, yeah.
Yeah. They said that we haven't seen anything this bad since Killer Miller, but oh goodness. It's
currently trading at 355, so more than Donovan Mitchell, less than Cade. Population is 433. Look, for me, this is the ultimate up and down asset.
Yeah.
I mean,
we've talked about him recently.
Yeah, we have.
Where does he settle?
We've been ahead of like the national media on Halliburton and also Naismith. We spoke about Naismith last week, and he was like throwing fire yesterday. So
he couldn't miss in game 1.
Look, Halliburton has been up and down. I think for me, this is how you summarize him: 486, 238, 499, all the way down to 193. He's now back up to 380. Like, if you want to jump onto something that's volatile,
this is your man.
Walk this way. Yeah.
He's been on a bit of a roller coaster. He plays in a smaller market. Look, if he played for a big team, that's not a 355, that's a 655. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, look, I think at the end of the day, there's a lot of distrust for the Pacers. People believe that the Lakers are going to win a championship before the Pacers, even though you might make a very correct argument the Pacers are in a better spot.
They're still in with a chance.
That's the narrative, though. I think that's what's
of course,
deep-seated into people's minds. And so it is what it is.
Yeah, true. But yeah, Tyrese, well done. Have some flowers.
We're going to talk more about Halliburton in a second. Right now, though, we are going to a break. US Sports Cards Australia, thank you so much for your ongoing and re-upped pledge to our show. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. Go to sportscardsaustralia.com.au. Now, if you go onto Ross's site, he's got basically everything covered. Hobby boxes, sports memorabilia. He's got some breaks listed on there. But the thing that Ross has been dedicating a large portion of, I think, of his life to, frankly, is his site that he's currently building called Check Out My Cards Australia. Go to the three little noodles, click on that, go to Check Out My Cards Australia. Seller login, check out my cards submission, and also the policy is there for you to have a bit of a browse through. If you go to the submission page, anywhere that you write down you can't comp this, you will then get free submission. It's normally 6 cents per card. Ross is trying to get people's cards to come in. The current issue he's having is he is definitely getting cards coming in, but he's getting a lot more cards going out. So he needs to build up that inventory just to basically have more cards up onto the site. So if you've got a whole bunch of cards that are sitting at home collecting dust, post them over to Ross. He will do all of the back-end work for you. They'll be cross-posted a bunch of whole different load of different platforms, including eBay, all the rest of it. It's all done for you. He'll sell them for you, put the money into your account, done and dusted. ussportscardsaustralia.com.au. Thank you so much for your ongoing support. Adam, we are back.
We are back. Have we completely destroyed the run sheet yet, or are we on track?
We haven't destroyed it, but we're not going to get through everything today. That we're going at a glacial pace.
We're plodding through it.
That's fine.
Yeah.
That's how we roll.
Yep. Just taking our time.
So look, basically, I want to talk about Denver just for 2 seconds because unfortunately they were eliminated. The question I've got for you is what happens next to their roster? What do you think they're going to do?
They need to do something. They need to either move some pieces to get better pieces.
Yeah.
But they need to sign some low cost vets, something or young or talent. But they need to fill some gaps, and the gaps are becoming bigger. Do you think Westbrook stays?
Look, I
think Westbrook should stay.
I'm saying this in the most respectful way possible. I don't like Westbrook as a championship player.
I think Nikola Jokic loves him as a teammate. So
yeah, and I understand why people would love him. Like, he comes to play every day. He puts his body through, a large amount of stress. He's the type of guy that would play injured. Like, he's everything that you want.
We need the starting point guard needs to be Jamal Murray, not Russell Westbrook.
I just think they need to do something to their roster, and I think they need to do something pretty drastic. So I think for me, the Peyton Watson experiment,
gone.
I think they need to move on from that.
Yep.
But they do have some bright sparks there. Like, so for example, I thought Julian Strawther played really well in game 4? He came off the bench and won that game for them.
Yep.
I think it's pretty obvious to me that he's an NBA scorer. It's just whether he can do enough of all the other things, to earn that court time.
Yeah.
Christian Braun is someone else that we have to talk about.
They're going to extend him, aren't they?
Well, yeah. So this is from Instagram @Hooper.
Yeah.
His extension is reportedly expected to be worth $30 million a year. And I think my problem with that is what's the other roster expense or the roster cost that it has. So do you lose someone like Julian Strawther? Do you have to get rid of Michael Porter Jr.?
Yeah, okay.
So that's kind of like where my head is at. And it's like, well, particularly when you sort of look through the rest of the roster, they took a big reach on Zeke Naji. I don't think that's really played out. I think the problem for me with Zeke Naji is like, you're competing for minutes at the same position with the best player in the world. And so it's like, why are you investing that much into that in the first place?
Yeah.
Look, I think Aaron Gordon is an amazing NBA player, but it's like, can you turn that into something better?
True.
I mean, he's only 29 years of age. Like, he's still got 3 more really good years, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's been good for them.
Yeah.
I don't know. Yeah.
Murray needs to step up.
Absolutely. He underperformed the last 2 years.
He did, but
he's been injured.
There are a couple of Bubble Murray games in that series with Denver and the Thunder where you thought, oh, wow, if Bubble Murray shows up, Thunder are in trouble here.
Yeah.
So my question is, who's the piece that you move? Is it Michael Porter Jr.? You can't get rid of Aaron Gordon.
I'm not sure. I actually think that they need to do something pretty dramatic because if they trade one or both of those guys, I'm totally fine with it. I think they should trade Peyton Watson too while they're at it. I really think that experiment is over.
I think the core of Murray, Gordon, and Jokic needs to stay together, and Brown needs to stay there. I think the piece the starting piece anyway that needs to be looked at is Michael Porter Jr.
I think my concern with that would be is like, where do your points come from? Because the thing about Porter Jr.
but
is
you
like,
can get a scorer though.
but when he's on, he's really good. And I think that's probably why I'm also kind of like, well, are you sure that trading Porter is going to fix it? Do you know what I mean? It's like,
I think they can.
Aaron Gordon is good, but he's not a 25-point a night guy anymore.
But if you get Porter Jr., you put some other pieces involved, and you get a few pieces back.
Yeah.
Then you put your scoring. Then you put your spread together, so you're not running 5 guys out, the same 5 guys, and unintentionally running a Thibodeau offense because you haven't got a bench.
Yeah, I think that's something they need to work out too, because I think that the previous general manager absolutely had an idea of giving these young players more time, but I think that's the thing. Like,
the
young players
wasn't there.
They get so exposed in the playoffs. I think that's the thing about NBA basketball too. It's like, if you are a defensive liability, like, that's it. The offense will just go to 20 straight possessions. It's as simple as that. So
true.
The other news for the Denver Nuggets is that their head coach, who was the interim head coach, is now their permanent head coach. I could have said that a whole lot better. David Adelman has been re-signed. Look, I like this. I think sometimes you just need to give young guys a go. Yep. I hope.
Let's see what happens, hey?
That he then stays there for 5 years. Because that's my thing about the Nuggets. What I really like them, I think that...
Yeah, for sure.
They had a coach that was there for a long time. And I think sometimes in the NBA, they get rid of coaches too quickly. It's like, are you actually sure the coach is the problem? It's like... Anyway. All right. Do we want to really quickly talk about Jokic values before we move on? I think we have to, just very, very quickly. Silver, PSA 10, population 185, last sold for $3,599. If you bought this in the last 6 months, you are up 30%. If you bought this in the last 12 months, you're up 30%. If you bought this in the last 2 years, it's actually down 4%. So basically, we're back where we started 2 years ago. Interesting one.
I don't know. Jokic is always going to be an interesting one.
Final thoughts before we move on to the Pacers.
Yeah, let's hope the Nuggets haven't sort of faded early.
Yeah, me too. I hope the Nuggets come back and retool.
Look, I just hope Jokic ends up in LA. Let's be fair.
I don't like this at all.
Don't you like it when they announced Luka and Jokic teaming up?
Look, as much as I hate the Lakers for stealing players constantly, that would actually be a really good 1-2 punch. Like,
that would
really
be amazing. Yeah. And then they get Lauri Markkanen as well, just so it's a full European.
Yeah.
Yeah. Why not?
I loved it how you said European and not all white front line, by the way, too. That was very PC of you.
Very correct, politically correct of me. Yes.
Alrighty. This is from Lamine James. Collecting Pacers cards then, collecting Pacers cards now. So Halliburton, after hitting that amazing game winner, did the Reggie Miller choke celebration and then pointed directly at Reggie Miller, who was commentating the game.
This is his last series, isn't it, Reggie Miller? So this is great.
So where are you at with this? I didn't like this like one bit at all, frankly.
All right. So to give some context, and Halliburton did address this.
Yeah.
He thought he'd hit a 3 to win the game.
Which he did.
No, he hit a 2 to tie the game when he did the choke.
Oh, did he really? I thought he did that after
it was on the line and he was going around with the choke because he thought he was 3 millimeters away from being behind the line.
Did he do the choke thing twice?
So no, so when he hit the 3, so he stepped back, had his foot on the line, and it bounced at the back of the rim straight up and went in.
Yeah.
That tied the game and sent it to overtime.
Oh, yeah. You're right. I forgot the timeline of that. Yep, correct.
And then they played overtime and won.
Yeah.
And then, which was funny because he just gave the ball to Karl Anthony Towns. It's like, there's 0.2. Math, like, it actually takes 0.4 of a second to release a basketball.
Yeah.
To shoot a basketball. So he's like, here you go. But yeah, the choke was when he hit it to send it to overtime.
Yeah.
So he preemptively thought he'd won the game and he hadn't. He goes, there's no way I would have done that if I'd known it was a 2. But still, if it was a 3 to win the game, like, it's the same. I was not going to watch the end of this game because with 4 minutes to go, they were up like 14 or 17 or something.
Yeah.
It was like 2 minutes to go. I'm like, it's done. These guys are up by 17 points. What's the point? And then I flicked it back on and went, what?
Yeah. Look, I think you can watch the fourth quarter just on repeat. It's just an amazing piece of basketball.
Pretty crazy. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm actually going to quote Phil Jackson on this. So he wrote this book called The Last Season, which I have a copy of. I read it probably more than I'd like to admit to you guys. And he talks about a passage of play with the Sacramento Kings where Mike Bibby hits a huge shot and is celebrating in front of the Lakers bench. And he's like, you're celebrating like it's June in May. Like you're getting ahead of yourself like so much here, basically. I think that quote applies here so much. It's like, why are you celebrating like that?
Because game one, he's just won on their floor. So to paint the series picture now, Indiana now have a 2-0 lead going back to play in Indiana tomorrow.
Yeah. Like, I think that they should be feeling happy with themselves, but I think you can also say he might have over-celebrated just a fraction.
I agree.
Also, let's just...
As Kobe would say, job's not done.
Correct. Job's not done. But let's also just rewind back, 1 or 2 weeks when his dad was out on the floor carrying on like an absolute pork chop.
That was a bit funny. Inappropriate, but a little bit funny.
But is the link there that his family...
like father, like son.
Right. I think we have to thread this narrative.
Wow.
We have to. Like, it's outrageous.
It's fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. I'm all for a small market team getting all big and happy about themselves, especially after the Knicks just did it to the Celtics, like took game 1 and 2 and took the series out of their hands.
Yeah.
And now that it's been done to them in return. So the Knicks are cursed. Let's call it how it is. The Knicks are cursed. They're not making the finals.
Look, I feel like I'm going to say the same thing I said a week and 2 weeks ago about the Pacers. This is a very well-built NBA team.
Mm-hmm. And they were there last year.
And when they are on, they are almost impossible to defend against because of Halliburton's IQ, the way he makes everyone better, the speed, the shooting, and the defensive versatility.
He makes everyone a threat.
And we are now seeing this on national TV. So I'm like, I got nothing else to say. All right.
I like it.
Tops WWE cards. This is just a bit of a fun side note. Halliburton and Jalen Brunson did this like wrestling skit a while back. They're now getting their own wrestling card. I think this is super cool. I think we need more of pop culture meshing with
I love this.
Our sports universe. I think this is like a really cool thing. They're also doing it as a Tops Now card.
Nice.
So,
well, this is one of the ideas that,
capturing the moment on it. I think this is great if they've got on-card autographs on it, or they've got memorabilia built into the cards, something like that. If they just print this stuff out and then it's got like a couple of sealed numbers cards or some different colors, I'm not all for this.
Yeah, boring.
But if you can get a Halliburton autograph on a WWE card and I'm not a WWE fan, but if you are, like, that would be a really cool piece to your collection. I'm all for it. Like this is A+. Yeah.
So game 4, because I'm guessing there's a chance this is a sweep. Is it okay to do the choke?
I mean, that's fine, but I think isn't the end game of a professional athlete to
win the championship?
But
they've won the conference.
I just think celebrating like that in game 1 is, and also too, and I'd actually completely like missed that he celebrated before the game even ended.
Yeah, no. So he didn't know. He's like, that was so wrong. I shouldn't have done that unless I won the game.
Yeah, I knew it, but at the same time, I completely forgot it. Yeah, you're right. It's actually more ridiculous, isn't it, really?
You know what's ridiculous?
Anthony Edwards.
Where is the stat? Do you know how many teams have won from being down by 9 or more points with a minute to go?
Yeah, it's like one in team. 900 games, something like that.
One team. Yeah. That was Indiana in game 1. They did
should have
the
celebrated.
Impossible.
No, I think they should have celebrated. I just think that was like slightly OTT. That's all I'm saying.
I agree. I just think that's how bad New York choked. Like that, no one loses from that position except New York.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
it'll
moving
come out
on
again in game 4. Don't worry.
That's all good. Moving back to the Celtics series, this is actually just a check-in on Jason Tatum. So this is...
Do we need a welfare check on Jason Tatum or Celtics fans? Because Jason Tatum's not going to be doing a lot.
No, it's more just an update about Tatum because he had surgery literally the day after he did his injury, which is a little bit unusual for that injury, but sports science these days is just moving so quickly. So this is dated the 23rd, which is 2 days ago from recording.
Mm-hmm.
He's now gone into rehab. This is basically what the article is saying.
Yep, they're trying
This
to get him back.
update comes from Sam Cassell, and it's all just optimism. They're basically just saying that he's going to come back looking better. He's going to be looking stronger, da-da-da-da-da-da. So I think, for me, the fun thing is about the Celtics is like, what are they going to look like next year? Is Jaylen Brown going to have 12 months of being the man? Jason Tatum then comes back and they form a genuine 1-2 punch. I think if you're being an optimist, I think that's where your thoughts have to lie.
Can I speak of optimism?
Go.
All right. So the last 2 weeks, Jason Tatum is down 11.4%.
I am not surprised at all. Not surprised.
In the last month, Tatum is down almost 25%.
That is very surprising for me.
Yeah. He's down to 620.
Yep.
So with last sold on May 22nd, 620 US.
I feel as though we have been very not up or down on Tatum. I think we've just been kind of like, we think he's undervalued. He's very stable.
Agreed.
If you want to buy into something that's not going to go up or down very much, Tatum's sort of your guy.
Agreed.
I think, though, in the next 12 months, you should not expect this card to go up. What you should expect to see is a steady downhill.
I agree again. Yeah, for sure.
And now that we're having this conversation, I think we have to then check in with Wemby, because he's the other guy who is the steady downhill.
Yes.
Who has not experienced a massive dip that we were expecting. He's down 2.5% in the last 3 months.
Really?
Like, that to me is goddamn fascinating.
But that 6%, he's young. He's got it's a blood clot. We'll see what happens. If he gets out, he just wins multiple Defensive Player of the Years and a couple of MVPs, and the Spurs win a title.
But okay, this to me is like Zion 2.0, because it's like people just put money into these big cards because it's like the next big thing, right? So then when they get injured, people normally dump them, but we're not seeing that. We are literally not seeing the dump out of this pump, I suppose is the right word, isn't it?
The pump out of the dump.
We're not seeing the dump.
We aren't. Actually, over the last month, he's up 4.6%. Over the last 2 weeks, he's up 10%. Last sold 691.
It's crazy.
Yeah, he's been pretty steady, like down 2% over 3 months. Overall, in the last 6 months, he's down 6%. It's bizarre.
Because I was waiting for some 20, 25% decrease to have a bit of a sneaky peek, but yeah, not happening.
Yep.
All right. Let us go to our last advertisement of today's show, because we are nearly at the end of today's show. This is for the Hobby Hangout XL. And we're going to talk about us, because we're going to be on stage.
We're there.
Doing some paneling.
We are.
Royal Exhibition Buildings, Sunday, the 1st of June, 2025. So if you're listening to this on release day, it's basically this coming weekend.
It's coming. There's only a few tickets left. If you haven't got tickets and you're in Melbourne, get your tickets. There's less than 500 tickets to the show left, and they are selling. So
I think I saw an updated number sheet of that. It's down to like 350.
Okay. Yeah, get in quickly. Make sure you don't miss out on your ticket.
Yeah. We are going to do a little bit of bragging at the moment. We are going to be on stage from 11:30 to 12:30.
Yes.
We're going to be doing the A to Z of card grading.
Yep.
Other panelists are to be confirmed. However, we do have Ray confirmed.
Yep.
Then at 3 to 3:30, we'll be back on the stage doing a collector's spotlight, talking all things hobby. Yep. Again, panelists to be confirmed. In between us being on the stage, 1 to 2:30 is going to be Whatnot, and then Whatnot will be back on stage.
They're doing some live breaks, aren't they? Yeah.
So they're going to be up there for a very big chunk of the day, but we are going to be up there for the second biggest chunk of the day, and also the paneling. So yeah.
Come on, check us out. And in between that, we will be at the Hobby Hangout. We will have we'll be doing interviews and saying hello to people, and
Yep.
It should be a fun day.
We can't wait.
It's gonna be exciting. And it's extra large, which means it's extra stuff to do.
Trade zones, innovations, special features for people to do. There's a photo booth. We should get our photo taken out.
There's a photo booth. There's also, for those that play card games, I believe there's Magic the Gathering drafts being held by plenty of games. There's Pokemon zones, there's sports zones, everything. So get along. We've got some big guests coming. It's going to be Whatnot. Golden are going to be there. It's exciting.
Absolutely. Alrighty, this next question is from Jamie. Excuse my pronunciation again. I hope I got it right last week, Jamie. Percevski, and this is really a follow-up question to our sort of ongoing chat that we've been having. Would like to hear who you guys think is the next up-and-coming, as we've seen SGA and Edwards take off. Also, who you guys are buying in terms of rookies. And the big question is, who do we buy into next? Who will take off and be the next SGA? Adam, who is piquing your interest as the next to buy person?
It's a watch this space for me at the moment. Like Cade was my guy. Cade was my guy.
So there's no one that's like screaming out to you at the moment to
jump on board from a draft class. Not really, but it's one of those. It's one of those things where you see a player take that step.
Yeah.
But look at the top end of the draft. Look at people taking that step from star to superstar. Maybe Paolo. I don't know if Banchero's the next one to take the leap. But he's a number one pick that has been going well, but was injured, so was a bit out of the spotlight this year.
Yeah.
Cade also went through a phase like that where he's out of the spotlight because of injuries. So maybe, just maybe, he's worth a bit of a look-see.
So I actually had time to think about this, and I threaded in something later on to the show, which I'm now going to actually bring up the run sheet. This is from Rip and Clip _collectibles at Instagram. And this is a post that they put up this week. High-end cards will become alternative assets. Fractional investing is just the beginning. In 10 to 20 years, grails like LeBron Exquisite RPA, Steph Gold Prism, Wemby One of Ones, and Caitlin Clark Golds will be treated like fine art or real estate. All right, so I don't agree with everything that was just said there, but I will put my little spin onto that. I think any LeBron James rookie card is collectible. And I think you should be putting those away for the long term. Mm-hmm. Any numbered or Prism LeBron rookie card, or Chrome is the correct terminology. That's my brain was losing.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Steph Gold Prisms. Also add in all of the Chrome rookie cards from Steph Curry, all of his numbered stuff, and on-card autographs. His ultra-modern autographs, I'm a little bit not too sure about just because of how many he's signed, but let's just keep it really simple at the moment in terms of his rookie stuff. Wemby One of Ones, I completely disagree with that so wholeheartedly just because it's such a speculative asset as we're currently standing. So let's just leave that, in my opinion, out. Caitlin Clark Golds. So I think that's a really interesting one because I think, and I'll thread in the next thing we're going to talk about further down the sheet, is that Caitlin Clark is selling for so much at the moment, and she's attracting so much extra attention and also bringing so much money into the WNBA. It's almost like there's an argument to be made that she's one of the biggest athletes in the world at the moment, but it's almost like she's an underappreciated asset despite being that.
So that's fair.
Yeah, so her gold rookie card recently sold. There's the action in card shot for $63,000 PSA 9.
Yeah.
And then they did they basically, with WNBA this year, they just went all in and printed it, like a lot of it. So each rookie got 2 rookie cards and they got like a standing variation.
Okay.
And then that also sold PSA 9, I think that is. That sold for $29,000. So I definitely agree with that. I think Caitlin Clark is like a high-end long-term hold.
Okay.
And so that's part of my answer. The second, so that's for the high-end stuff. Yeah. And I think you can't look past that.
No. Yeah.
Because just because something's already high now doesn't mean it's not going to go higher in the future.
For sure.
Particularly with just like this, very, exclusive small group of people. So Steph,
you've got
LeBron, Caitlin Clark. That's all good.
Yeah, for sure.
So for me, it's Cade Cunningham. I really think that he's a very solid asset. And I think that he's already been through a lot of distress, if you want to use that. He was on a terrible team. Despite that, his prices have held together pretty well. He had the injury history at the start of his very young NBA career. And then despite that, everything's just sort of coming into place. Like that Pistons team is good. I think they're going to get better. I think the card hobby love is coming there. And I think it's a little bit underground.
There is some hobby love for Detroit. That's the thing.
Yeah. But I also think too, it's not like every man and his dog is getting on Cade. I still think at the moment it's a little bit niche. So I still think there is some opportunity there. And then
for sure.
I think, if we want to look at what we were talking about today earlier in the show, we were talking about all NBA teams. Like, actually, I think that's a really good place to start with. What's the pocket of value currently, if you're looking at the All-NBA teams, look, I think Evan Mobley is really tricky. Jalen Brunson's already spiked. Steph Curry, we just spoke about. You've already spoken about Edwards today. LeBron James, we just touched on. So that then leaves you with James Harden, Tyrese Halliburton, Karl Anthony Towns, and Jalen Williams. Now, we've spoken about Jalen Williams a couple of times. This is
J-Will might be it, yeah.
He's a really interesting prospect, right? There's not a lot of data out there on him also, too. So it's kind of like you have to go out and do your own research into this guy to actually work it out. Look, I was probably surprised at what his comps were going for, but at the same time, now he's just been named to All-NBA. We just talked about the Thunder maybe being like a dynasty team. There's a very strong argument to say, he's not going away. The other one that is a little bit interesting for me is All-NBA, is Karl Anthony Towns. Like, do we actually start to look at him as being just like such an underrated...
But given his rookie season was so, like, his card's so old, like I don't see. There's been no one collecting him. I think Jalen Williams is a good one. He's actually on Card Ladder. Last sold.
Oh, he's on Card Ladder now, is he?
Yep.
Yeah, cool. Okay, so he wasn't even 2 weeks ago.
So Card Ladder data 2022 Prism Jalen Williams last sold 185.50. Population 650.
Okay. All right, so let's just hold that thought literally for 2 seconds. So Karl Anthony Towns is trading currently at 250.
Mm-hmm.
Population on that's 167. So where I'm going with this, and this is a little bit of a, like, we've missed the boat now. In July 24, he sold for $83.
So he's done his spike. Is what yeah.
Well, what I'm saying is, like, he was at the point, he was so low down.
No one wanted, it was just like, yeah.
It's just, okay, so this is, okay, maybe he's gone up a little bit too much to sort of put that same sort of spin onto it.
True.
But at the same time, too, actually, it's not that far away from Williams, though, is it really?
Williams is all right. So maybe Williams is the peak because he's actually only up 9% in the last 12 months. He's been overshadowed by SGA. Maybe he sees a spike.
I think there's enough room
in the spotlight.
For two people.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. You can have a second banana. MJ and Pippen.
Yeah,
LeBron and Kyrie, Kobe and Shaq.
It's really tricky, man. All right.
KD, Westbrook, and Harden.
Should we do one more and then we'll go, hey?
We can do one more. How about we do a really quick one? Do we want to do... We'll do an MJ. Do you want to finish with an MJ?
Yeah, it's always good to do an MJ of the week, isn't it?
Let's do an MJ of the week and then we'll close. Do you want to just close it out from there?
Yeah, absolutely. Sounds great.
Sounds
Alrighty.
good.
So we're going to talk about the 1997 Ultra Michael Jordan Court Masters. I'm middling on this. I don't think this is like we've talked about more aesthetically pleasing Jordans the last few weeks, to be honest with you.
I don't like it as a card.
The obvious thing here is the population.
Mm-hmm.
It's just 27. I feel like to me this just looks like a bit cheap, if that makes sense.
Sorry, I'm trying to look at the other way.
Yeah, I know what you're doing. So basically, for people who are listening at home that can't see what Adam can see, it's got Jordan up the right way, and there's also one upside down. So Ad's trying to
next to each other, and they're up. They're top to tail. I don't know.
Yep.
He's dunking or he's diving, one or the other.
Yeah.
Well, it looks like he's diving because he's upside down.
I think it's rebounding.
Probably. It just looks weird.
All right. So why don't you like this? Why do you think it's a bad buy?
It's a messy looking card. I don't like the aesthetic of the card.
Yeah, I agree. There's a lot going on, isn't there? It's got the parquetry of the floor. It's got the lines, the text. 2 Jordan pictures, not just one. Yeah. So why do you think this is spiked so hard then?
Just another one of those really rare inserts that doesn't gem very often.
Yeah. I think that's the moral of the story for me too. Is I don't think you need to look for cards that are particularly aesthetically pleasing. You need to go for PSA 10. You need to go for low pop, and it has to have Michael Jordan on it. And that's we did a checklist the other week for doing prospect cards. Maybe we need another one for Jordan cards. Is it Michael Jordan? Yes. Is it PSA 10? Yes. Is the population less than 50? Yes. Buy as many of these as you can afford. Yeah. Okay.
Done. Sold. Yeah. Clear investment strategy.
Right.
Please note this is not financial advice.
Thank you, Adam, for a wonderful show. Thank you to our listeners in the US, Canada, Germany, Philippines,
all around the world,
Australia.
All around the world.
We appreciate you guys tuning in. We appreciate it. It's great.
It's nice, and we'll see a lot of you. Hopefully, we'll see a lot of you at the
face
Hobby
to
Hangout
face
next week. See you next time.
Bye bye.